Hello! Isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Good morning, good day to all of you. I hope and pray that you are uh, in a good and safe environment while we study philosophy. Because our topic this day, it's all about the methods, one of the methods in understanding philosophy, which is the philosophical study of philosophical theism and philosophical atheism. Okay? But before that, uh, we, for us to be guided, okay, for us to be guided, let's have first these learning competencies or targets. So we have two here. One, I can compare and differentiate between opinion and truth. Okay? Facts and truth. Facts and opinion. Second is realize that the methods of philosophy lead to understanding truths and strengthening one's faith. And this method of philosophy is this what we call theistic and atheistic philosophy. Okay? So let's begin. In determining opinion and fact, um, simple lang. Because facts were a statement that can be proven true or false. Facts are statements that are true and can be verified. No? So meaning to say, dito sa facts, there is this what we call empirical evidence. There is this what we call the supporting details, supporting um, document that would somehow say or that could somehow prove that this is really like this and that based on research. That is why research is very important. And on the other side of the coin, opinion is very subjective. This is only based on the opinion of a person. Na most likely, we uh, deliberately mislead others, lalo tigit pag ang nagsasalita ay si ganito, ganyan. They thought that person as very credible, but then and then, those are opinion only. Okay? That is why it is very important na we have to determine and we have to understand the importance between the two. Okay? Especially in our study. Especially in our study. Especially in our lesson this day, because we will discuss the difference between theistic and atheistic philosophy. Okay, so let's start. Philosophical atheism is the belief that the supreme being exists. Let's make it simple. If it is theism, there is this belief that supreme being exists. Independent yan of the teaching or revelation of any particular religion. Basta pag theism, nandun yung paniniwala sa Diyos. So meaning to say, ang kabila nito, yung hindi pagpapaniwala sa Diyos. So yun yung atheism. Now, let's have this concept of God based on based on the philosophy of theism. Now, theists largely agree that a maximally great person would be, yan, yun yung paniniwala nila. Pag ang tao daw, pag ang great person daw na whom they considered God is omnipresent, can be seen anywhere. Omnipotent is all-powerful. Pag sinabing omniscient, He is all-knowing. And not only that, meron pang isa, all good. So grabe, perfecto talaga ang Diyos. Perfecto talaga. Yun yung concept ng God ng mga theists. Yung mga lahat ng naniniwala sa Diyos. Now, they have these attributes. So one, that yung tinatawag nilang ultimate concern. Now, this ultimate concern was explained by Paul Telek na if you are a theist, your ultimate concern is your religious practices. The essence of your practice, religious practices. Mahalaga yon kung naniniwala ka sa Diyos. So, ibig sabihin, magpapahalagahan mo yung mga religious, yung practices mo. So, meaning to say, your religiosity matters here. And, yung tinatawag nilang maximal excellence. Okay? Yung tinatawag nilang maximal excellence. Ito yung attribute. According to Paul Telek, yung maximal excellence in all things, God must be omnipotent. Kaya nga, dun sa pangalawang attributes ng God, yung tinatawag na impossibility, Paul Telek would describe this as everything. God can encompass everything. Yun. Ganon yung explanation ni Paul Telek. Kaya nga, Paul Telek remarked that God is the answer of the question of man. Why? In terms of man's quest in infinitude. Why? Because God is omnipresent. He is there to answer you. He is there to hear you. What are your battle cry? Pag nahirapan ka, nandyan ang Diyos. All-powerful, omnipresent, and all-knowing. If you have problem, God will resolve that because He is omniscient. God will forgive you because God is all good. Those were the explanations of Paul Telek. That is why this is very important na mabuild natin yung foundations, yung concepts of God for the theists, yung may mga paniniwala sa Diyos. Now, this is Paul Telek. He is an American, German philosopher, a theologian, at the same time, existentialist. Siya yun si Paul Telek. So, ito yung pinag-usapan natin kanina na ultimate concern and maximal greatness. Saka yung isa is impossibility. Now, don't get confused if you cross this term, deism. Yung isa kasi is theism. Ito naman is deism. This is a form of monotheism. So, meaning to say, there is this belief also in God, in which it is believed that one God exists. A form of monotheism. But this God does not intervene in the world. Tingnan mo yung pagkakaiba, ha? Tingnan mo yung pagkakaiba. At tingnan mo kung paano nagbabago based on definition. Kasi dito, dinidescribe niya na iisa ang Diyos, naniniwala sila na may iisang Diyos. Pero itong Diyos na ito, hindi nangingialam kung ano yung mga affairs na nangyayari sa mundo. Those were deism. The belief of deism. So, it derives the existence and nature of God from reason and personal experience. So, yun yung deismo, Yun yung deismo. The only thing na ayaw ng mga deismo is that they don't believe in sacred scriptures. Kasi for them, tao din ang gumagawa niyan. Ang nila, pinakabatayan nila ay yung karanasan nila, yung experience nila, araw-araw. Okay? So yun yung batayan nila. Pero nandun pa rin yung paniniwala nila sa Diyos. Pero yun na nga lang, naniniwala sila na God is there, pero hindi nangingialam ang Diyos. Kanina, in general, pinag-aralan natin yung paniniwala ng tao sa Diyos. Yun yung theism. Okay? Ito, kaya nga sabi ko, if you will get, kung magkocross sa landas ninyo itong term na deism, huwag kayong malilito. Okay? Meron silang similarity pero malaki yung pagkakaiba ng theismo sa deism. Sa deismo. Okay? Now, imagine na, deism rejects supernatural events. Say for example, prophecy. Hindi sila naniniwala doon. Miracles. Hindi sila naniniwala ng stage 4 cancer after a deep prayer, gumaling. Hindi sila naniniwala doon. The Christian concept of Trinity, hindi sila naniniwala doon. Yan. Hindi sila naniniwala doon. Mga tawag dito, yung mga organized religion na something na tao lang, wala sa kanila yon. All they adhere is their natural experience in the world. Yun lang yung pinanghahawakan ng mga deismo. Okay? And there are variants of deism. There are variants of deism. So, one is pandeism. Listen, this is very important. Huwag kayong malilito dito. Halos pare-pareho yung term, pandeism, panendeism, and polytheism. Take note, makinig kayo. This will be your takeaway. Ito na yung baon ninyo. Maunawaan ninyo yung pagkakaiba ng mga yun. So one, we have here pandeism. Pag sinabing pandeism, the main belief of pandeism, they have this concept that God is the one who controls the universe. Oo. Ano yun Pandeism yun Ay, sorry. Yun na nga, pandeism. They have this belief that panendeism pala yung sinabi ko kanina. Pandeism. God is the one who designed the universe and He is also the one who created it. That is pandeism. And their coherent belief in God who is both pantheistic and deistic. So they have this early belief that they consider universe as their God. They consider universe as their God. Yung consideration nila sa universe as their God, doon nila pinapakita yung kanilang, siguro yung experience nila day in, day out. Yun yung siguro nila. Doon nila ipinapakita yung kanilang kabutihan based on their natural experiences. So pandeism yun. The other side, we have this what we call panendeism. Panendeism. The first is pandeism. Second is panendeism. Ito yung sinasabi ko na God is the one who controls the universe. And they have this concept that God is bigger than the universe and pervades and interpenetrates every part of the universe. So, di ba, may twist na naman siya. May pagkakaiba naman doon sa pandeism. Kasi yung pandeism, ang paniniwala nila, ang Diyos ang nag-design at siya din ang gumawa. And for them, God must be revered, irespeto. So sa panentheism, ang Diyos daw ang may control ng universe. At nangingialam, interpenetrates every part of the universe. Lahat pinapakikialaman ng Diyos. Panentheism. On the other side naman, yung polytheism, this is the existence of many gods, poly, who collectively set the universe in motion, then ceased to interact with it. Diba? Many gods. And those many gods, they were the one who sets the universe in motion. Imagine. That's polytheism. Okay? Polytheism. Now, in understanding this, okay, if we will try to notice, since we are the pinaka-core na topic natin is theistic, theistic, theism, theismo. Lahat sila diyan, meron silang paniniwala na may Diyos. Sa filosofiya lang at saka sa kanilang individual na paniniwala, merong nagkakaiba. Kaya nga may kinakategorize sila into pantheism, panentheism, polytheism, may deism. But they belong to deismo. Okay? Okay, malito. Okay? So, let's proceed. Earlier, yung pinag-usapan natin yun yung theism. Philosophical theism. The belief that there is God that exists. Ito, atheism. It is the belief that there is no God. They have this belief na walang Diyos na nag-e-exist, or a complete rejection of theism. Lahat ng paniniwala ng theismo ay nire-reject nila. Wala daw talagang Diyos. Nagkaroon lang ng Diyos because they think that there is God but there is none. Wala naman talagang Diyos. Sabi ng atheismo, walang Diyos. They cannot prove that there is God. Kaya may mga arguments pa sila. They have their arguments. Imagine, yung atheism. Yung atheism kasi, it originated, going back, balikan natin, yung before 16th century. Bago yun. Wherein Greeks were godless. Doon yun nagsimula eh. Then they applied it in the 16th century. Kaya nga nagkaroon na ngayon ng skepticism. Naroon na yung malayang pag-iisip ng tao. Ng tao ay nagda-doubt na, nagtatanong palagi, nagki-question, nagki-criticize. And the proponent of this is Diagoras. Si Diagoras were attributed as the first atheist. Balikan natin yun. Si Diagoras pala, atheist na siya since 5 BC. Ang atheist, Diagoras don't believe in afterlife. For Diagoras, ang mundo is very materialistic and without spirit. Imagine na. That's the belief of atheist. And here comes the the existence. Here comes the advent of the non-theism religion. Oh, yun. Ito na ngayon. Nandito na ngayon ang nag-exist ngayon ang Buddhism. Oh. Wala silang Diyos. Non-theism, walang Diyos. Jainism, Taoism, Confucianism. Kaya nga tinatawag lang yung mga practice nila na way of life. Way of life. May nagtanong sa akin dati, Sir, how about Hinduism? Yung Hinduism is a monotheistic religion. Sir, monotheistic, isa lang. Yes, yun yung strong belief ng mga Hinduism. A monotheistic belief, but they believe in only one God, but they don't disregard the other gods. Hindi naman nila din-disregard. Pero ang pinaka-God talaga nila, isa lang. And they have these many gods na hindi nila dinidisregard. So those were their philosophy. And let's respect it. Okay? Let's respect it. Now, going back to the arguments of atheism. Talagang ang isa sa argument nila is very epistemological. Yung isa, metaphysical. And here comes the logical and evidential arguments. Yeah? Ang pag sinabing epistemological, from the word episteme, knowledge. Logi is reason. The study of knowledge. Kaya nga in the epistemology, dito pinag-usapan yung talagang reasoning. Where does these things come from? The root of all roots. Where does this thing derive from? Yan. So yun yung doon sa kanilang pag-aaral epistemologically, they have this belief that people, argument nila to ng mga atheism, people cannot know God or determine the existence of God. They have this idea na they have this idea na ang tao daw is agnostic daw ang tao. Ano yung agnosticism? Agnostic. Parang si Bertrand Russell. Yung kaya nga tinatawag siyang psychological state kasi nandun siya. Nakikita niya yung mga bagay-bagay pero hindi siya makapag-decide. Pero in practical sense, hindi sila naniwala na may Diyos. So yun. Second is the metaphysical atheism. They have this absolute or explicit, explicitly, they are denying the existence of God. Absolute yan. Talagang dinideny nila. Dalawa yan eh. Yung isa is yung relative metaphysical atheist. Implicit, they have this knowledge. Implicit denial of a particular concept of God based on incongruity. Pag sinabing based on incongruity, Malinaw to, incongruity. Ito naman ay argument ng atheism. Ito yung isa sa argument ng atheism. Kaya nga sinabi nilang metaphysical, ito yung strong nilang pinupush itong metaphysical argument na to kasi nga meron daw incongruity with the descriptions of the theist na God is omnipresent. Paano naging omnipresent ang Diyos? Ang tao naghihirap ngayon. Saan ang Diyos? Ba't wala siya? Di ba? Walang Diyos. Kasi kung omnipresent nandiyan siya, makikita agad natin, nakakausap natin. Hindi natin nakakausap. No, they deny omniscience. If God is all-knowing, bakit may mga taong hindi marunong ng ganito o munawa? Bakit may mga taong, why not pour those people with, alam mo yun? If God is omniscient, bakit may mga palpak na mga gawain ngayon? If God is omniscient. If God is omnipotent, all-powerful, why is it that God allowed evil to exist in this world? Bakit may mga masasamang tao? Bakit may mga masasamang pangyayari? Kung God is omnipotent, bakit ina-allow niya yung natural calamities na mangyayari? Pagsabog ng bulkan, pagdating ng napakaraming bagyo, paglindol, di ba? Bakit nangyayari yun? If God is omnipotent. Those were the arguments of the atheist. Bantay kayo. Ingat kayo. Pag hindi kayo marunong umintindi at umunawa sa doktrina at hindi nyo naunawaan ang specific doctrine, you will fall into such, Kaya nga, pinag-aralan natin to. Sabi ko, tandaan ninyo ito lang yun ay argumento lang to ng mga atheismo. Okay. Next, logical and evidential argument. Nakalagay dyan. Logical arguments are sometimes called incompatible properties arguments. These arguments attempt to demonstrate a contradiction in the concept of God. If an argument of this type were successful, it would mean that the existence of God is impossible. O, diba? There is 0% probability that God exists. Sabi sabi nga ng mga atheists, logically inconsistent. Inconsistent sa pagiging omniscient, inconsistent sa pagiging omnipotence, inconsistent sa pagiging omnipresent. Di nga natin naranasan. All good, summum bonum, the greater good. Hindi nga natin na-experience. So, those were the arguments of atheism. Now, ito, nabanggit ko kanina sa Bertrand Russell. Sabi niya nga, I ought to call myself an agnostic. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na dahil hindi siya naniniwala, hindi din siya makapagsabi na ganito, ganyan. But in practical sense, purposes, sabi niya, I am an atheist. I do not think the existence of the Christian God anymore. Probable, walang proibang may papakita than the existence of gods in the Olympus or the Bahalya. Yun kasing Olympus or yung Bahalya, yun kasi yung if you could still remember your Greek mythology. Mount Olympus is located in Bahalya. Yan. wherein gods and goddesses, alam mo yun, stories about war, stories about this and that. Talagang nagmamanifest doon. Those were the stories. Those were myths. Kaya nga, ito, kumusta kayo? After knowing the arguments of atheist, baka maging atheist kayo, ha? Hindi. Those were their arguments. Pero lahat ng mga bagay, balikan natin ng konti, lahat ng mga bagay na sinasabi nila, it was proven naman. It was proven naman. Meron namang mga pruweba ang mga taong naniniwala na may Diyos. And one of them na nagpo-prove is Saint Thomas Aquinas. Another is Saint Anselm. We have great doctors of the church that would say and that would prove that there is really God. Okay? So those were our belief. Belief din yun ng kabila. So we have to respect each other na lang. Okay? We have to respect each other na lang. And I would like to quote this. Ang ganda ng sinabi ni Soren Kierkegaard na kung ikaw ay nahirapang maniniwala o unawain yung isang bagay-bagay base sa paniniwala mo, sinasabi ni Kierkegaard na you have to suspend your reason in order for you to believe in something. Galing, ano? Galing nila. Galing. Tama nga naman. Para makafocus ka sa iyong paniniwala, you have to suspend everything. You have to disregard. Huwag mo nang pansinin yung gumugulo sa utak mo na ganito, ganyan. You have to focus. Ang tawag dito ni Soren Kierkegaard is leap of faith. Leap of faith. Okay? So, ito yung sinabi ko kanina. Okay? So, that's it. That's our key takeaway for this day. And let's try to check. Okay, let's try to check if we've hit the targets. I think we've hit the 2. Okay? Not I think. We've discussed this, and this is really our path to finish this. So yun, we hit those learning targets. Now, if you have questions, if you have something to share regarding our topic, you can share that in the second part of our discussion after this in the plenary. Or you have to write your ideas in the chat room. Okay? So that's all for the day. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Good day and God bless. I hope and pray that you are always in a safe condition and be steadfast always in God's love. Thank you so much. God bless.